You are all members of the same race, the human race, which started with black women between 300,000. Don't interrupt me, I don't have much time. Now, white folks, you don't like it, but all you are is faded blacks. Every one of you, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you're going to find that some of your DNA came from Africa, because we all have the same ancestor back there, every single one of us. And those of you who think you don't have are obviously from outer space. Now, that means that every one of us is a 30th to 50th cousin to every other person in this room. Well, every person in this room who considers himself or herself a biracial person, stand. Don't you stand. Don't you stand. People, we have to get rid of the language of racism. I'm not a teacher. Teachers dispense facts and figures so that they can get their kids ready for the end of school testing. I've been called a trainer. The reason our fearless leader, our cheater, and the reason he is closing Planned Parenthood, sorry about that. The reason he is closing Planned Parenthood, what's the word I want? Planned Parenthood offices is because too many white women are abortions, and he thinks that's what Planned Parenthood gives us. That isn't what Planned Parenthood is for. It's to help women with the many, many problems that they have. But he thinks all they're for is abortion in white people. When in 1987, when the book The Birth Dearth was written, and that's the word, that plus the writings of Adolf Hitler are what this man is basing his governmental policies on. In 1987, 60% of the fetuses that were aborted every year were white. Then we started closing Planned Parenthood clinics. In 2018, only 39% of the aborted fetuses were white. Are we succeeding in increasing the number of white births? Yes, we are. It's a cute trick, and it's what he wants to do. Increase the number of white babies being born in this country. The whole thing is so ludicrous and based on a lie. We should have gotten over it a long time ago. But it's hard to get over if, when you go to church and pray about it, and you hear the preacher standing in front of a white male on the cross. Now, the Bible says that Jesus had kinky woolly hair, animal-like hair, and feet of bronze. And now we know that he was an Ethiopian Jew. Well, if you're from Ethiopia, the chances are pretty good that you ain't pink.
Is it fear, envy, or ignorance that fuels this fire that they just refuse to let go of?
It is ignorance, and people like Donosaurus T. Rump, or whatever you want to call him, keep encouraging and inciting fear in people so that they will fear people of color. He wants to build a wall on the southern border of the United States so he can keep those brown-skinned people out, because he has said several times, we've got to keep out of here because brown-skinned people reproduce too freely. Too many brown-skinned people is going to really kill the number of the people who have power in this country. This is all about racism. Make no mistake about that. If we can keep you afraid of, for instance, that ignorant white female with her dog called the cops to come and stop the black man in the park who was a bird watcher who asked her to leash her dog. And she called the police and told them, I think he's going to attack me. He's attacking me. Please send someone up. They sent a patrol car out to put a stop to a black man who was asking a pale-faced woman to leash her dog. Now the signs on the park said, leash your dog. But she's a female. She doesn't have to obey the rules. We're looking at the difference between liberty and justice for all. We're looking at the land of the free where she was and the home of the brave where the black man was. And when I hear that song, you know, the national anthem, I think the land of the free, that's all those white folks in the stands at a football game. And the home of the brave, that's those black males on the field who are willing to get their brains beat out in order to make enough money to keep them in their old age. That's the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That is another interesting perspective. Now, do you think the experiences that you have replicated over the years, do you think that they were like received well, or the point went across so good because did it resonate more because it was told through the eyes of children?
It didn't resonate well each time I did it. I I have been called every name you could possibly call. My
Mm,
mother kicked me out of the family after my father died. I lost all my friends. My kids lost all their friends. My kids were beaten and spit on and abused verbally, physically, and physically because they had what to this day is called an N-word lover for a mother. That
mm,
did not resonate well. The majority of the United States who agreed with what I did were smart enough to maintain a low profile, keep your head down. And
mm,
that's what a number of teachers in that system did. They get along to get along. But then several years after I did that exercise, one of the parents of the kids of the child in that class stopped me and on the street in Osage and said, "We've been wanting to talk to you for years. We are sorry that we didn't stand up and defend you against the kinds of things that were being said about you. But I said, wait a minute, you don't have to apologize for that. You had to live in that community and you had to get along with those folks. I could move out every day. I could drive over to Osage and live in Osage, and I didn't have to get along with those people, except with the teachers when I was in the classroom. And I didn't get along with them. I
mm.
found out how typhoid Mary must have felt. I could walk down the hall and nobody would speak to me. It just it got to be so comical. I could ruin their day just by walking into their classroom because they were afraid somebody would see me in there and they'd think that that teacher in whose room I was thinking like Jane Elliott. So they couldn't have that happen. It was just a scream. My father said one night after I complained about what was happening, he said, "Jane, just keep smiling. They'll wonder what the hell you're up to." So I'd smile and I'd laugh and I'd chuckle all the way down the hall. And they had to be wondering, why isn't she bothered? I was hating her. What's the matter with this woman? Must be crazy. Well, we knew she was crazy. Look what she did with those poor little children. And
Mm,
laugh and walk away. Because my
mm.
kids learned something that their teachers didn't know.